Hi, good evening. Welcome to the Barmy Army Isolation Podcast number 21. We've come of age and we've finally got to here. Right, Natalie, joining me this evening, just you and me, and we're going to talk about the fact that we've got 2 fixtures now sorted, and we also had a pre-season game on Sunday, so we can talk a little bit about that. First things first, the first 2 and only the first 2 fixtures for everybody were announced on Friday. And it's my understanding that the rest of the fixtures are being delayed. Is it until the men's are out and so that they can work out ground share and things like that? So the rest of the fixtures, before anybody says, why have we only got 2? They're coming out, but I think the men aren't due to announce for another couple of weeks. So we're not going to get the rest of those for another couple of weeks. So we have Chelsea at home, Birmingham away.
Good.
And at this stage, Nat, we believe we're behind closed doors, don't we?
Yeah, for
What
both of them.
once those 2 games were announced?
What's this? Can you say that again, Deb?
Just wondering what your feelings were when those games were announced, particularly thinking that we're not going to get to be at those games. The Chelsea one, probably most pointedly.
Yeah, well, when I heard, obviously, Chelsea sort of did potentially expect a big team. I was thinking it was going to be a Manchester derby again. I think they're definitely saving that one. Like what you said, they're waiting for the rest. And there's going to be a 2-week, what I've heard, so there'll be the first 2 weeks, and there'll be a 2-week international break, and then it's October, and that's the date where everyone's pushing to be back. So I'm not saying that they're going to do a derby then, but maybe potentially a few weeks after that, you might see a derby because they know it's, a big game like Derby, Everton. You might see in the October months. So I mean, we all know that they do. It's not a case of picking out cold balls. It's a case of right, which one's got in the biggest crowds. I mean, we know this badge pulls in numbers, so bang, put them against Chelsea, big game. It's unfortunate we're not there. We know the impact fans can have in the stadium for our players against others. Hell, it could even motivate others, but we know the impact that we can have. We've seen it, some of us first, they shoot towards us. We've seen other players turn around at us and this and that. We've heard other managers saying, "Oh, you upset my keeper." Well, listen, that's the job of fans to rile up others, to get supporting behind their own. And it's disappointing. It's Chelsea, but I'd rather, if I had to miss a big game, I'd say Chelsea or Arsenal. I feel for people who only do the Leeds games because that's a big game to miss. But we did get Chelsea last year, but I didn't want to miss away games, and we've done Birmingham. Not in a horrible way to them. Their team isn't settled yet, so that should be 3 points. Hopefully, I mean, God, we said 3 points last year against Bristol, but you never know. I just more gutted about the Chelsea. I accept the Birmingham. And just let's see what happens when they bring out these next set of fixtures, because I think there's definitely going to be fans at them, hopefully.
Fingers crossed. A very good evening to Mark, John, Fiona, and also to Torrin. Torrin and Ellen, I hope, are both watching us. Glad to have you with us. I think it was a conversation we were having in a WhatsApp group we've got, and my sense was that even though the first couple of rounds were going to be behind closed doors, that's still, I think, to be decided, to be confirmed. But I think they're talking the beginning of October for fans. I still expected at least one big game out of those 2 rounds. I still expected. Yes, they couldn't say it. Sorry, Nat, go on.
No, go on.
Sorry. I think what out of all of that, we've got the top 3 from last year. So Arsenal, Chelsea, City, clearly not in that order. And yet, the big game is the team that finished 4th. To me, that's also a sign of our pull, of how much we bring and how much interest we bring. Jake, cracking stat. Our last competitive home match was against Chelsea. So will our next one be. Good evening to you as well, Jake. That's interesting because we've missed effectively now last season's and this season to come game against Chelsea. I wasn't at Kingsmeadow. You were, Nat, and we put up a good fight. What do you think is going to be different to playing Chelsea this time round?
I think they've really improved. They've added quality players. They've added Jess Fleming. I think Niamh Charles isn't quite there, but she's got the potential to be. Obviously, we never came up against Sam Kerr. I don't, she's got, time in her boots. She's got used to the league. I just think it's going to be a big test for our signings. It's going to be. Depends. I don't think she's done. I think if you watched, she did a little interview. It's on Sky Sports. Go back and watch it. But they asked her about Rachel Daly, and I know you and Fiona and Sue talked about it, and she sort of went, "It'll be a brilliant addition for anyone. The window doesn't close until September, or whatever," and started laughing and smiling. For me, that means someone's coming in, and I mean, I want to start telling the secrets, but I know that the offer's still on the table for Eva Navarro, and potentially that clause that everyone was talking about is not done. So
that's the one in Spain where if a player moves to another Spanish club, the other club has to pay a small fortune, whereas they can leave the country and it's free. So possibly still some incomings. Mark makes the point, though, that this game against Chelsea is going to be a good test for the new signing. It's one of those, a bit like last year against City, where you're throwing them in very much at the deep end. And you're kind of saying to these players, show us that you can handle this. Now, the obvious thing is as well, they've not got the atmosphere. Does that actually help, do you think? Does that help the honours of this of the team? Maybe Ivana, if she plays. Less so Lucy Stan, I'd say, because she's obviously played for England, big games. Will it benefit them actually that we're not there?
I think so, yeah. I think it's hard to say because then when we come back, is that going to then affect them, So I think potentially it's best to just get them used to us as soon as possible, you know what I mean? I think they're going to have to, their followings on social media are probably going to up like massively. They've probably seen it all. The hype when Anna was coming. Ivana came out of nowhere. She's everyone's favourite now because she's smiling, but I think it's just the whole fierceness of it. That's what I think it is. It's the whole fierceness of it.
Just looking here, John's asking a question. Got a slight lag on you, Nat. So if I jump in, it's because I'm seeing and hearing at different rates. But John's asking a question. Would you prefer Rachel Daly for a 6-month loan or one of the Japanese strikers linked to us for a couple of years on terms? I've not heard of either one of so I assume there's more than one, are the Japanese strikers. This is much the discussion we had last week, isn't it? Do you want somebody to come in and they're probably going to come in and do a job straight away? Or do you want to build? Nat, what are your thoughts?
She plays for Washington Spirit. I don't even know her name. Yakamono. I don't think that's happening, but who knows? Personally, I prefer Daly to come in because she's been in this league before. England international, so she's used to playing with a lot of bar playing against others. And then Rachel Daly sort of made a comment on Sunday's show of, what did she say now? Sort of try before you buy. And I thought that was interesting. Yeah, she's at Houston. She's not said anything bad about Houston, but the fact that she just came out and said, try before you buy, I thought, oh, okay, so you're open to coming back to England potentially permanently. It's all about what you offer them, what they experience. she could hit the ground running, and you could think, no, I don't want you to go back. Bang, try before you buy. She just wants to play. I think we definitely need someone. I think, wherever Lucy Stan was the other day, wherever LJ was, I think we need players. I think we've just got Leah and Jess and Hanson, and Hanson looked really good. I think it could be her year, but I mean, those are the 3 players we've got. I think we definitely need more.
Yeah. In terms of the pre-season game, we'll touch on that a bit later on. But in terms of these first 2 fixtures, the Chelsea one is obviously the one that gets people interested, gets the focus. It's, from what I've heard, it's going to be the big TV game of the weekend. And I don't think that's a surprise. You're talking about the champions against Manchester United. So that's going to be the big game. We've then got Birmingham away the following week. As you've already said, Nat, not a game that's going to really whet the appetite. It's not one that's going to get us all fired up. And they're also in a state of flux because I'm not even sure Birmingham can field a team right now unless that they're going into their dev squad. So Birmingham are in a bit of trouble. Are we at risk of looking at this with and almost just taking our eye off the ball with this Birmingham game, throwing everything, all of our focus to Chelsea, and almost ignoring the fact that Birmingham game is not going to be straightforward? We've seen the pitch at Solihull. It's not always great. Yes, it's earlier in the season. I don't want us to underestimate, because it would be great if we could have a better start to the season than we did last season. First 2 games, nothing out of them. That's a challenge.
No, I think you've got to take it one game at a time. And I understand where you're coming from. If, say, Birmingham was first and then Chelsea was second, I could understand. You have to you take each game as it comes. Whatever happens in Chelsea game, you then forget about it and you move on to Birmingham. And different games should have different tactics, but all your focus should be on now. That's the game that we're preparing for, the 6th of the 9th. For example, as well, that this is a game. It's going to be on telly. FA player, people need to download it. They can probably watch that Birmingham game on a BT or something, but download the FA player to then again watch us play Birmingham again. There's going to be loads of people that are going to tune in. Man United, there'll be no men's football on because it'll be the England international or whatever. People are going to want their Man United fix. John saying never underestimate.
Yeah.
So for us being behind closed doors, it's not what we want, but it's an opportunity to get those fans watching on telly, even if it is just that. But that's why I think they need to we're pushing that they do at the stadium, make it right, make it a Man United game. We're, the same as Old Trafford, decorate it, put our flags up, get it, people feeling like it's our stadium. I mean, I know it's not, but do the best that we can do. Because like you say, that's going to keep people interested. People want to see flags. People want to hear, crowd noise, whether it's, Leah Golden's song coming through on the telly. Who knows? But they might do that. And I think they have those audios of us. Use them. Use that instead of using the generic Man United ones. Get people learning the girls' songs. Why not?
Yeah. I know that we're trying to push things forward. We are trying to get some sort of dialogue going in terms of something at Lee. Jake's sticking his neck on the line here. Can't see Birmingham even scoring against us. Maybe I'm being too optimistic. Worrying times for them. Jake, we're all going to come and revisit that if it goes wrong. Okay? Fiona,
blame you.
We do okay against the big big clubs compared with the likes of Bristol and Brighton. Okay? I think we could possibly put Birmingham in that list as well at the moment, Fiona. Yeah, FA player, for anybody that's not familiar with it, I think most people who are watching us at this current moment, maybe people who are catching up another time, aren't familiar with the FA Player, it's free and every WSL game is broadcast on there. I'm not quite sure, and I hope maybe our Norwegian friends can help us out here. There is a restriction somewhere in the world, if I'm not mistaken, where they can't access it. But we are expecting the Chelsea game to be on one of the paid pay-per-view, the subscription channels in this country. But everybody else will be able to watch it. Oh, mind you, no. How does that work? Someone needs to help me out here. Yeah.
No, I think it's right. You can watch it globally.
But not in this country. If it's on the subscription channel,
in this country, it'll be audio only if it's on
audio
BT
only
or BBC.
Which makes it even more important that we could try and get something of ours in there. Anybody that's asked the question, we don't yet know what the plan is for Lee and what they're hoping to do. We are hoping to sort something out, but we don't yet know. It's probably going to go down to the wire. That's the conversation Nat and I had today, that we are fully expecting to have no warning, no knowledge. We're just going to get a random email or phone call going, now. That's what we suspect, isn't it, Nat?
Well, I think as well, everyone knows every game. I mean, have I got it here? Every game, the stadium looks like this. Yeah?
Yeah.
Stadium looks like that.
That's the terrace end.
For me, terrace end has to look like this still. And, you know, let United know, people. Let United know. Put them flags up. No, because it's true. Let United know. Let LSV know. If you're ever taking a picture of a flag, tag them. Let them know you want them up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the minimum we're hoping for. John's confirmed. If it's subscription, not on the FA Player, okay? And Torrin has helped me out here. Thank you for hearing my plea. The FA Player is blocked in some countries. Oh.
I hope not Greece, because that's where I'll be when we're playing Birmingham.
Right. So can someone find out for Nat if she's going to be able to watch the Birmingham game or not? Yeah, Fiona confirms that matches broadcast on BT will be shown outside of the UK, depending on who's paid for the rights, but commentary only in the UK. So there is no excuse for anybody to not keep up with what's going on with the game live. Plus, Ian, who sometimes has been on podcasts, will be we've asked him about this, and he's actually still going to be doing the live Twitter commentary. So even if you're out and about or you can't actually get to the FA Player for either the video or the audio, I was hoping that wouldn't happen. Right, Nat, come back to me. Otherwise, this is the shortest one we've ever had. But yeah, what I was saying, Ian's going to be doing his live commentary. So anybody keep up with it. Right, looks like it's just me for the time being, and it's far too hot for me to not get stressed. So looks like Nat's coming back, thankfully. Right, should we add her in? Nat, you back with us?
Yeah.
We get overheated, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. It's too hot. No, it's beautiful, but it's too hot.
I know you love this heat. I was just saying that Ian is hoping to still do his live Twitter commentary. So we will be keeping people. I mean, look, Fiona's nailed it for us. Turn on your Twitter notifications for the Barmy Army. Okay? So first of all be following the Barmy Army on Twitter. Secondly, get notified the moment we drop something. Okay? Thank you for that, Fiona. But we will be keeping people updated as much as we can. So first 2 fixtures, and then we're going to have an infernal 2-week international break. That's not something we've ever been comfortable with. The regularity of the international breaks and the length of the international breaks. Now, you'll be pleased to know, Torrin said, you're good to go in Greece. Okay? So, hopefully, thanks for that, Jake. Ian's commentary will have less typos this time. So, I've completely lost myself there. The international break, then we'll have the full fixtures. So, in terms of the rest of them, they're coming are we talking the end of this month? Now, do we know? Do we have an exact date, do we? No. Okay,
No.
so.
But you know what, Deb? I don't
me.
mind. I know usually we do mind and we would be kicking up, oh, you can't do this. But I think the fact that we're waiting and it adds 2 weeks onto it, takes us closer to our day.
Yeah.
I'm happy. Have a 3-week international break. Have a month international break. If it means that when you come back, I'm in that stadium.
So this may well be the only time you're actually grateful for an international break.
Oh, praise the Lord. Praise be. Take it all month. Yeah.
Can we
Take
just
it all month.
Can we get that on record? Nat is actually grateful for an international break. Hey, Fiona's come up with a good point as well. Gives Casey some time to work on any issues from the first 2 games. Perfect. You just hope it's not going to.
You know what it might be as well? Time for someone like, if she's not on the internationals, which she probably will be, but the new ones, just say, hey Nat, hey Miami, do you want to? Here's 100 tickets. Do you want to come down to training, open training? Because they've done it before. In the stadium, they could do it. They could do it as a little tester, trial run. Imagine the scenes.
Okay, so yeah, that's one of those things. Personally, I think we should just accept that. Let's all hope the numbers keep coming down, and let's just get to a point where, after that international break, we are in a position to get back into the ground. That's certainly discussions that's being had at FA level. So it's just about, as far as I'm aware, it's just about us getting the numbers down, not just in the area because Greater Manchester's in trouble at the moment, but nationally. We've got to get the numbers down so that we're in a position. It has been announced today that the Community Shield, which typically, certainly the Men's Community Shield, is the league winners against the FA Cup winners. Okay, bearing in mind that we don't actually know who's won the FA Cup. They're going with 2 years ago, the FA Cup winners, and last season's champions. Ridiculous, crazy, but it's so they can have a double header. I don't get the common sense in it. Well, there isn't any common sense whatsoever. It's literally just having a match for a match's sake. But there's rumours that could be a test event. It's been rumoured for a long time, the Men's Community Shield. I think it's going to come too soon, but it's also going to be shown live on TV. But that's going to possibly be the first time that we start to think about test events for women's football, and then we start to look at getting us in the ground. But it's a crazy thing, that Community Shield. And yeah, I know a while ago they mentioned possibly using that as a test event. That ain't happening. We're not there. Jake, absolutely right. He likes the idea of a Community Shield, but at least wait for the FA Cup to be won. And also, now your idea of a month-long international break, Mr. International himself, he would love that.
One time. I would support it. One time
what
only.
You'd like is all of the international breaks condensed into this one, wouldn't you, Nat?
Oh, yeah, exactly. And then no more because I'm back. That's it.
So when we come back, hopefully, we're going to be going to games, home, away. Hopefully everything's okay to go to away games. We played on Sunday, and surprisingly, I thought there was coverage, or at least there is some footage of the goals. Did it surprise you? I know we always ask for it. Did it surprise you that United have put out some footage from that game?
It surprised me in that they'd never do it. They never, ever do it. And I think it surprised me but it didn't surprise me in a way because we all were supposed to be, and I'm just going to say it, Deborah, we're all supposed to be in Malta for pre-season games, whether it was 1 or 2 games, we would have been there watching it. We all went to Oslo, we met Ellen and Torin. So, and when we were there, we had an open training session. These are the kind of things that they probably would have put on again for us. And the fact that they can't no one can go to the games. And I mean, the last time we saw the girls was in March. You can't expect people to just sort of you know, after we had Oslo, we accepted that the rest of the games we ain't going to hear about them. That's it. But we'd had 2 games, and I think they broadcast them both live. They definitely broadcast the first one.
The
Can't remember
second one.
that second one.
No. I think it was possibly highlights, but there was nothing live.
But you got match day commentary from myself and Ben. We told you, you know, so people would go if they want. You know, we had the we met Jackie, the madness then. And I think you can't grow a game and lock people out for all this time and then still say, oh, but we've got games on, but we're not going to broadcast them. I think it was a common sense move has been made. Whether they show us the rest of the month, who knows? They might see this as, boom, we've done one thing, that's it, you know, accept it, move on until Chelsea. But I think they definitely needed to do that because all the games that we've missed, had to give us something.
It has been an extremely long time, but it just wasn't a united thing to do. And typically with the women's team, where everything feels like it's been behind, not just behind closed doors in terms of fans, but everything's been so secretive. For me, it just felt completely out of character for them to cover the game.
Maybe it was a Casey thing to do. She's talked about being a control freak and she's let a few things go. And maybe it's thinking, shit, you know, we've not seen our fans since, when was it, March? Maybe February?
February the 23rd. Somebody will bear me out on this one. February the 23rd against Everton, Nat.
And, you know, people have been demanding like anything. When them training pictures, and they said, do you want training pictures? And the place was burnt to everyone just went mad. Like, give us everyone. And everyone's picture came out one by one, and it was just...
Now, I remember... Okay, I'm just going to... I'm going to come back to something from Oslo, but John mentioned before, you need to change your sports now. Stock car racing, you can now go to meetings, okay? You buy advanced tickets so they know the numbers. Why won't WSL do that? But Oslo, okay, and I've talked about this a few times, but I remember we were at an open training session and there was a sense of hysteria with us. And I'm owning that, okay? I'm completely owning that. I'm not even going to deny it and be all cool and, yeah, not me, it was all that. Absolutely. And bear in mind, we played the full season out in the championship. You and me and a couple of others, we've been fortunate enough to go out to Nice. You obviously carried on going because you're such a big England fan to other England games, yeah. So we'd had football. We'd had a lot of football. And yet we've got to Oslo. We got to that training session and we felt starved. And that's what it was for me. That's how I felt anyway. And that was why when we saw the players, as some people more than others perhaps, there was this sense of hysteria. And I have that in my head because all I'm thinking is that was after a full season. That was after going to a World Cup. What's it going to be like?
Oh, baby. I'm not even ready, mate. I'm not even ready because that was a sense of hysteria. I remember, Deb, we were hysterical. But Jessica, Katie was going, what's my sock? They were all building it. They were all egging it on. And so most of them just ignored us. But I remember Mary came bounding over. Oh, this is what we're all about. Let's go on. Let's go. Let's have it. Let's have it.
Oh, I've heard about you. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's going to be that same. Oh, it's going to be just going to be manic.
Because you've missed them. You're thinking they've missed you as well. When I say you, I'm not just talking about you personally here, Nat. Us as fans, they've now got to go and play behind closed doors for at least 2 games. One of those is at home without us there. Some of them may thrive on it. Some of them may really, really miss it. But we were starved. We were starved. So we're going to go from Feb 23rd. Jake has said Everton away was our last game. I'm pretty sure Feb 23rd is the date in my head. So from Feb 23rd right through to maybe sometime the beginning of October, March, April, May, June, July, August.
Yeah, 23rd was the day.
That's a long time to go without seeing them. That's a long time. So, completely out of character, United cover this, or MUTV cover this game we played on Sunday. Casey said afterwards that I think she'd expected to play more players, but she had to have, I think, was it 4 of them play all 90 minutes? Yeah. Because there were some players who didn't play, most notably Lucy Staniforth. We don't know that there's an injury. LJ didn't play as well.
LJ knows injured because she's posted stuff about rehabilitation. So she's
nothing about Lucy. Yeah. So we don't know what their status is. Some players had to play the full 90, which obviously Casey said. Was there anybody in particular? I mean, it's very, very brief. Anybody in particular that impressed you? You talked a bit about Hansen at the beginning, but from the very brief clips you saw, anybody you thought, yeah, I like that?
Hansen, obviously. I think there's talk when Hansen started last year. We were in Oslo. We had the chats with her mum, if they're watching. Send my love. But like, she didn't start the season. She worked hard. She built her way into it, and then she started to thrive in the middle of it. And then she just, how can I say it? People say, "Oh, she fell off." I don't think she fell off. I think it was just she got that injury. She played through that injury, and then bang, she didn't even come back. So she's come back fresher than ever. Obviously working hard. I'll always rely on, and always know that Hansen will work hard. But Tooney, I've seen John just saying, Tooney, I think it's going to be a good year for her. I think she needs to show she came into her element towards the end, and then obviously, boom, taken from her that season. I think she would have got a lot more goals. But obviously, my G, what can I say about her? You know, when you talk about hysteria, that's what's going to be hysteric. When you walk into a service station and someone has their arms out wide, what do you think it's going to be like? When you hear someone screaming and you're running towards them and then they're screaming as you're hugging them, what do you think it's going to be like? It's going to be hysteric. And I know, even when we talk about like Millie, if you watch some of their things that they've done, the same, we miss fans so much. Everywhere they go, we go. And so, maybe for other teams, they might be all right behind closed doors, sort of might like that anyway, But for us, it's going to be weird. It's going to be strange. It's going to be strange for us, but I do think it is going to be strange for them. Even people like, say, a quieter player like a Jane Ross or a Hayley lad, even Jane Ross has said, bloody, they're dedicated, they're there all the time. We've got a massive fan base, and I think it doesn't help them by not being there, by not, they might be more used to it, but it doesn't help them because at the end of the day, it's only going to get bigger. We're only trying to get more people through the door. It's only going to get more fanatical. So I think not having fans, I'm going to I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for me. I feel sorry for everyone.
Yeah. Jake makes the point. For some teams, it'll be like normal for them. Everton don't have any fans anyway. Absolutely right, Jake. And get them back to Southport. Definitely.
Ivana, the way she dances. And then, when LJ scored that goal, imagine, just things like that.
One in front of us in Southport.
Oh. People are going to
miss it. Is there a game now? Is there a game? I'm just thinking this, and I'd really love to get some reactions to this as well. People have been to games, perhaps, or they've seen certain grounds, or is there one game that you would hate to miss more than anything else if it was behind closed doors? And which match would you love us to come back to first?
The game that I'll miss? Well, I'm going to be thinking of myself now. The game that I wouldn't want to miss. Bristol, because I want to see Ebony. I want to see Ebony and Amy. But Arsenal away.
Arsenal away, you'd hate to miss.
Yeah, okay. And I think that's the one that everyone. If say we started with Arsenal away, I'd be really gutted because, I've heard Molly Green talk about it, and she says the way that we were so close to the pitch, and it is so close to the pitch, and you can hear everything. And that was the one when I talked about keepers turning around, and it was that Dutch keeper. She turned around, was like, I gave her some deadly stare, and it was that's a game that I'll and I'd hope to come back to a game like that. People are saying City, would I come back to City? I'd want to come back to a home game, but a good one.
Nat, Fiona suggesting for the Bristol game, do you want half and half?
VIP, don't you worry.
Fiona, I agree with you, by the way. And my thoughts on half and half scarves. So Jake wants to get Southport 2021 trending. I agree. I'd rather go back to Southport than Walton Park.
I love Southport. Southport is full of memories, man.
Kat's agreeing with you, Nat.
Yeah.
Arsenal away. I was going to ask the Norwegians, actually, Torrin and Ellen. I was going to say, if you guys are coming at, what's the game you'd love to come over for the most? I know you're saying you'd come over for any game, and we'd happily have you come and join us for any game. But more, if you can only come to one game, and we hope it's more, what would be the one game you'd want to come over for? And anybody else, let me know, what's the game you'd hate to miss more than anything? And what's the game you would love to come back to for the very, very first time you're back in a football ground? For me, because as I'm saying this, I'm thinking it, okay, Torrin straight away, home against City. That's the one. Don't worry, Torrin. We'll probably play them about 4 or 5 times in the season, even though we can only actually play them 4 times. We'll get drawn against them all the time. It's fine. We've got 2 cup competitions. Maybe they'll create a new cup competition just so United can play City. Probably. Okay, but yeah, you should get a chance to see one of those. I'm just trying to think. The one game I would hate to miss.
Everton games are always tasty.
I don't miss them. I wouldn't miss it as much at Walton Hall.
No, I wouldn't.
If it was at Southport, you would. That would be another matter. That would be another matter. I would. Yeah, I'd struggle with that. Jake would hate to miss Arsenal at home. The atmosphere. That Monday night we played Arsenal at home in September. That was incredible. We were, let's be completely honest now, we were hanging on. That whole of the second half, we were hanging on.
But it was still electric.
Yeah, but that was one of the best atmospheres, I think. There was so much that went into that atmosphere. It was a night game, and I've always said it in terms of going to Old Trafford. Night games are always better. So that's one thing.
For everyone. If a game came back, would you, like you just said, a night game is all this, like they're going to want to get all these games on telly.
Yeah.
Would it really bother you if it was a Monday night, say 2nd of October, whatever the Monday back of if it was, say, everyone had played Saturday, they played Sunday, and then bang, the Monday again. Would people just still be on it, still be as ravenous for it? Or would that dampen it, do you think?
I think
on a Monday night, or if it was Everton on a Monday night.
I can only say for me right now, and I'd love to see some people's comments. I think whenever there's a game, if I can get to it, I'm going to it. So for me, have it whenever. I'm already thinking about, I'm glad the men are in the Champions League now because I don't need to worry about them clashing with the women on a Sunday. Happy days. Torrin, she would love to see us against Everton as well. Okay, Littlestrand's former captain plays for them now as well. So we need to beat them. Yes. Unfortunately, and I can only say it, and I'm not wishing to make you jealous, but I can only say it with complete honesty. You will have missed out on Southport. Both times we went there, an absolute joy. Yeah, we're going to play City 5 times, twice in the league, once in the FA Cup, twice in the Conti. Jake's remaking the Conti Cup rules. Okay. Oh no, we couldn't come.
What I will say though,
one later on. Sorry, Jake. Nat, what would you like to say?
Can't we? What is going to happen with the Conti Cup? Because didn't Conti Cup start in September? So are they looking to do all the cup games in October?
I think, well, to be completely Jake, yeah, I'm sorry. I've got, it's too warm, Jake. I'm getting bamboozled. You're right. We make the final. Both of us make the final. I think this move to put the FA Cup in has just made a mess, an even bigger mess. Because for me, I don't, and I'm not going off on some diatribe about the FA Cup here because that's a much bigger issue. I'm just going to say it's a mess. They shouldn't have bothered. They should have just ended it when they ended the season. No winner. Okay? Yeah. But what they've got now is a situation where they've got to play out the FA Cup, and it's cut into the time that we would normally be playing the Conti. Fiona's wondering whether they're going to delay the Conti final. I actually don't think at this stage anybody knows. Yeah. So it's a good question. It's a very valid question. If anybody knows what's going on with the Conti Cup, please let the FA know.
Well, what I will say is, Man United fans, however many people are on, or even if you're not a Man United fan, you're just watching and see what we do, put it in the comments, I don't care. For me, I love the Conti Cup more than the FA Cup. I love the fact that you've got guaranteed games, you've got guaranteed games at home, you've got, for me, I love it more. I like the little league system because it's a bit of excitement. Then it goes into knockouts, and you're into knockouts for 2 games, bang. It's basically win that league, 3 games, and then you've got the final.
Nat, you cannot love the Conti Cup more than Mr. Conti Cup himself. Where are you, Jake? Come on, let's have a message from you because Jake absolutely adores the Conti Cup. A lot of people don't like it. They don't like the format of it. I mean, I'm with you at this stage. The more matches, the better. Any opportunity to get to a game. And also, I'm really, really suspecting we're going to get both Durham and Liverpool in our group. And
Sheffield. I won't mind a bit of that.
Durham, Liverpool,
Sheffield
United,
Man City.
Okay.
Standard.
Right, the City, obviously. Jake loves the FA Cup, but they're dragging it out. Fiona likes the Conti because it's something different. It is. It's guaranteed games, whereas last season, the FA Cup obviously got drawn against City away. That's it. We're out. Done. Yeah. The Conti, you're at least, depending on how many teams are in your group, because they're not quite matched up exactly. You've got 4, maybe even, I think, 5 games, 3 or 4 games, 5 games. Depends on what you do with them. They change areas, don't they? The north becomes slightly...
Leicester was in the north.
Reading end up in the north. Yeah.
No, it was last. Now they've got Villa and all that. We'll get Villa, Birmingham. They'll be all north teams.
This is why Jake loves the FA. Loves the Conti. Liverpool away, first game ever. Southport twice, beating Durham at home. I'm taking that. James winner against Brighton. Good time. Definitely, Jake. You know what? The Conti, it's given us some great moments. It has given us some great moments.
They're trying to rush the FA Cup and then they get rid of the Conti Cup. That shouldn't happen. Who knows? The season might get extended. They might do it when the Conti Cup when the fans can be there.
But they're on a timescale this year because we've got the Olympics next summer, haven't we?
Throw that in the bin.
They've been delayed. Now, artistic license, yes. Kat, absolutely. What goes on with those north-south boundaries? It's a bit of a mess. And I suppose it also depends on which team, because you've got to have a split of so many Super League teams as well. So I suppose Villa might have thrown a bit of a spanner in the works.
Really?
Mind you, it's just Liverpool. They'll just swap with Liverpool in the north, I suppose. Yeah. North-south boundaries go a bit skew-whiff after a while. So the Conti Cup, I'm guessing they're going to have to squish in at some point, and it may be, I don't know, they can't take out an international break. They'd never do that. So when we spoke to Rich Laverty, who's a journalist, and he was saying that there is a school of thought around the Conti Cup that it is the most disposable competition there is, which I think would be a huge shame. But there is a groundswell of opinion that the Conti Cup isn't worth bothering with.
No.
So we like it, but also he did say, and it was a question that Ian actually put to him, the games against the championship teams, if they're played midweek, the Super League team has to go to the championship team. Okay, so that possibly might get brought in this season. Who knows? But look out for that. Once they do make the draw, if we have one, maybe two, I know we only had one last year, we might get a slightly easier group and have 2 championship teams. If we play them away, expect that to be midweek, I think is what they're saying. They won't come to a Super League team during a weekend because a lot of them are part-time. Jake's saying the only issue with Conte is everyone picking weekend teams. Picking weekend teams, Jake, or squad rotation?
Yeah.
Because I think
Squad
certainly
rotation.
if you look at our game against Leicester, we wouldn't have been playing. I wouldn't have expected us to play our first 11 in that game. So, yeah, I see what you're saying, Jake, but I think at that point it's the only opportunity to get your squad rotated. Sorry, Nat?
Blood the youngsters as well.
Blood the youngsters as well. And this is a point I made about the FA Cup, sorry, that we drew City straight away. And we didn't have that opportunity. Amy Palmer, who'd come back. We didn't get a chance to play maybe some of the devs. So actually, it'd be nice if we had a slightly easier game.
I mean, talking about this game that Katie said she had to play so many players, and I see that McManus played the whole game, and like Amy and Millie swapped, but like that could be a chance where 50 odd minutes in, she could have brought Poppy Lawson on. I saw Tooney played the whole game, bringing on Chloe Williams. So in a way, when she was acting frustrated, I can see why at that 4 players, whatever rule it was, because if you can't blood the youngsters in a pre-season game or in a Conti game on a midweek, when can you do it? You can say against Bristol, against this, but look at how we played against Bristol. Look how we played against Brighton away. I want to be blooding them then.
Absolutely. And actually that kind of taps in a little bit to what Kat's saying here about in the first season, particularly I think for me that Everton game, more so than perhaps the Liverpool game, it was a really good way to gauge how we might do in the WSL. And I know obviously Everton have been on their own trajectory since then, and certainly we have, but we came off that really disappointing result at New Ferrens Park against Durham on the weekend, then went to Southport, and probably the best performance we put in all season, I would say. Certainly the best 45 minutes in that first half. And it gave us a lift and it showed us what we were capable of. But it's those kinds of opportunities for players to prove what they can do that actually, I think we were very limited. I know we had a shortened season, but even still, I don't think we had those opportunities last year. We had one game in the Conti, which was more straightforward. I'm talking about Leicester. But in the FA Cup, bang, straight away, you've got City. Where was the opportunity to, like you say, Rebecca May's coming on when we're struggling against Reading. That's it. Brighton.
I think, though, it's like you say, I understand, I get what Kat's saying. There's teams like us, where we were in the Championship, say Leicester now, they're going all full time. They're going to want these opportunities. They're going to want an opportunity to come and play us. They're going to want an opportunity to maybe play Man City. Sheffield will want these opportunities. They really enjoyed it. They played Liverpool. They beat them. Liverpool are going to want to show they're still a Super League team. The Championship is getting better and better, and that's why I love the Conti Cup because, the first year let us gauge. The second year it was bang, let's go out and try and win it. We've been to 2 semi-finals now. I think that's our best opportunity of getting to a final and potentially winning a competition. I can see that being the first cup we win. So if we're trying to fit in this bloody FA Cup from last year and we don't get a Conti Cup, no.
I think by default we should be given the Conti Cup then.
Yeah, we should. Because we're the only ones who like it. We should get it.
Okay, so the Barmy Army is saying, sack off last season's FA Cup, bring on the Conti Cup. Okay?
And it's not even because we're in that, we're not in that. It's about
No.
This season now. Forget about last season. It's done. You should have done it already.
For me, Nat, and this is one of the issues when they first announced that they were carrying it on. You've got players, and I can't remember who the player is, but there's one player who's left one team. She's joined another team, so that when that game now happens between those two teams in the FA Cup, she's playing for the other team. Now, I know that players do move. I can't remember who it is, but no one's cup tied. You've effectively got two whole new squads going up against each other.
Competition, I think. It's a joke. And I mean, Leicester, they were at a certain point. They're probably going to be a bit stronger now, but City are stronger too. And, Birmingham, they could have got to a final. They probably won't now, but, the chance was there. The chance was last year. This is a new season now. I think it's just, I get it. They want to do it. It's the 50th edition or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's time where you just have to say,
nope.
Thanks. And I think the time to do it would be now. The time to do it would be in this little gap now.
I thought what they were going to do effectively was what they've done with, say, the Europa and the European Champions League. So effectively going to have them as a self-contained tournament. And effectively, they could have done it within a week.
Yeah.
Because they're at quarters, aren't they? So we could have had the quarters on a Sunday, semi on a Thursday. Semis on a Thursday. Let's have the final on Sunday, and that's it. It's 1 week. Tournament's done and dusted. If you need to finish it, and yes, I think the fact that it's the 50th is probably more pomp and circumstance. But I would have suspected it was the very first thing they were going to do, and now instead we've got this mess of a community shield, and it just feels like they're ticking boxes for the sake of ticking boxes. So that's what my thinking was, but it looks like it's going to impinge on the rest of the season, and it's going to have this impact, and it just feels like we need to say goodbye to last season. We need to move on from it, and yet we still got dribs and drabs and things dripping through. So Jake makes the point. The men's FA Cup was allowed to finish, but the women's has been delayed. I don't know what to say. I think it's just a joke. Anyway, so bring on the Conti Cup. We're not sure when those fixtures are going to be announced. I can't even remember if they were announced. I think they were announced after the league fixtures, if I'm not mistaken. So
they were announced well after the league fixtures, but you knew when they were going to come, didn't you? Pretty much.
Yeah. Expect the league fixtures. I think they're saying towards the end of this month. Probably get the Conti Cup fixtures the day before they start playing them, probably. If the FA got anything to do with it, the way things are going at the moment. I know it's strange circumstances, but I sometimes think these are the times when the fans need to have an idea. Even if you just say to us, we're going to release the dates we're going to release fixtures on these dates. It keeps us all connected, and it means that people aren't getting. Jake, what are you doing, lad? He's looking forward to the Chat Community Shield.
Listen, I saw Jason Cundy and I saw Ben reply to it. If Man United aren't there, I'm not interested. And it's the same. It's exactly the same, men or women. I'm not interested. It's not my team. I don't care what happens. Yeah, it's going to build it up. It's going to be talk. Oh, Chelsea went. Oh, this is what they're going to. It's good. So it's going to hype everyone. But Jake, I'm not interested unless this bad is there.
Come on, Nat. Jake's been enduring Belarusian football during lockdown. So I think, Jake, it's time to come back to United. Okay, you've definitely. Jake's gone all woe, so maybe you can have a chat with Nat sometime. She has her moments as well. She wants a month-long international break. All the games in, for different reasons though. So I think it's at that point now we can feel something's getting closer. We can feel the momentum's gathering a little bit. We've seen the girls on the pitch scoring goals. It feels that bit more real, and the fixtures are there. There's still some things to be ironed out. There's still some things to be sorted. We've still got part of last season hanging over us, but I'm going to take a slight deviation. We've got 5 minutes left. Nat, what's your prediction? Not your hopes, because hopes will probably be a very different answer. Prediction for what we are capable of. I'm trying to be subtle. Hopes for what we're capable of next season. Or your prediction? Sorry, I'm getting confused. I'm confusing myself.
I know what you mean, right?
Yeah.
What I think can happen, right? Casey said, "Listen, get and watch that Sky Sports thing, everybody." You know, I don't want to say Casey said, and she said, you know,
it's only about 3 minutes long.
This is Man United. Yeah, and in a way, she's right. But whether she's probably, how does she know that we're all gagging for this? Probably because she's read half of Twitter, and it is this frenzy. Basically, we want to be moving up the league every season. It's not, you know, we're not here to take part and to grow the game to do that. Yes, we're going to grow the game, but we're here to win. We're not here to, make sure that the Lionesses win the World Cup in 2030. I don't give a toss. Sorry, I don't care. I only care about this badge. And the more people sinking in now, and I think Casey, she did understand it, but she thought, oh, yeah, but it's all about Lionesses, really. No, it's not, right? Because I hate England, right? I don't hate them, but there's an element of it in the men's side that I don't like, that I feel uncomfortable, that I don't feel welcome. And I'm sure everyone can understand what I'm trying to say here. And I get it's different in women's football, but still, when you see that kind of vibes, you don't like it. And, you know, when you're seeing David Beckham strung up, you know, effigies of him, you know that they don't like us. When they're booing your players, you know that they don't like us. So why me? Am I going to make time and effort for people like that? Like, whether it's women, it's all different. I don't care. It's still England at the end of the day. And that's the way England carry themselves. So I'm not interested, really, you know. So for me, I think you have to look at what you've done so far and you finished fourth. Anything backwards on that is a failure. Failure might be a strong word, but it's not progress. You know, even if you got more points, you still finished a position backwards. So I think what she needs to look at doing is being fourth again, minimum. Yeah. But maybe it was between fourth and sixth last year. You know, we would have been, I think a lot of us would have been very, very upset if we had ended up finished fifth. You know, and to be honest, it's just a point in it. Because we were at that Brighton game. I know you weren't, but that was awful. That was horrendous. That was the worst game I've ever seen. And they drew, luckily. Luckily, they got a point out of that. But if they hadn't got a point, Everton would have finished above us. That's how. And Everton had a 2-0 lead, and Spurs pulled them back. So that's how lucky we were to finish fourth. Yes, we went out there and then smashed Everton, and it was all good, and everyone was happy in the end. But that's the fine margins that you take when she talks about it. And like Amy T's talked on the podcast, it's fine margins. We don't want to be that nanny team anymore. Well, listen, go out there and beat Chelsea then, because it was a 1-0 defeat in the Conti Cup. But for me, I remember that game. They scored 1-0, and then straight away, Lauren James one-on-one with the keeper. And I don't know what it is. Yeah, I don't know what it is in the heads, but she missed it. And I think Lauren James don't miss them chances. So I don't know whether they all hype themselves up more for Chelsea, Arsenal, this and that. Because, yeah, we're not there. She talks about gap in the budget. For me, that's not good enough to be saying there's a gap in the budget, you know, but then you can go out and spend 130 million on Sancho. It's not good enough. So that's an issue with this club and the Glazers and, you know, their commitment. I know Casey's committed. How committed are the Glazers and all that? I'm sorry I'm eating into your time as well, Deb, but, you know,
the question
you've got to look at this now. That's why I'm saying that Conti Cup has our name in it. We've been in 2 semi-finals. You can't just be finishing in semi-finals. Yes, you can't just be finishing in semi-finals. Say, oh, we were close. Listen, you know that the semi-final is going to come down to the top 4. Whether we like it or not, whether it's predictable, I don't care, right? It's going to come down to it. So we're either going to play in a semi-final, Arsenal, Chelsea, or City. You know, when we get into a semi-final, that's the team that we're going to be playing. So the best time to be beating them, because really, yeah, if we don't beat them in the league, it is what it is. You can pick up points again. But the time when you need to be beating them is in the semi-final. And yeah, Chelsea are a good team. They've got even better now. But I thought that semi-final at LSV, that was our time. And, you know, it didn't happen. Move on. But we should have been taking those chances. We should have been winning that game. Yeah, we didn't have Leah. Yeah, we didn't have Hansen. But, you know, are you just relying on them two? And that's what I felt we were like last year. We were just relying on them to do everything, you know? And, you know, she's gone on, oh, Jess was on the wing last. Jess shouldn't be on the wing. Jess should be down the middle. John talks about it all the time. Jess is our number 9. Why is she wearing that 9 shirt if she's playing on the wing? I think you need to get in now someone properly, a proper winger. Whether it's Rachel Daly, because she can play up front as a striker, she can play winger, she can play fullback. That's the kind of player that you need to be bringing in. And, if she then goes in January, the finals in whenever, she misses that. But I think that boosts everyone and makes them just up their game. And for me, who knows, if we're in the semi-final, she might not want to leave. She might want to leave after the final,
Yeah.
I think we need to now. It's not haste anymore. It's win a cup competition.
So John's clearly said 4th place and Conti winners. Torren thinks we could actually get 3rd, just ahead of City. Yeah. Would love to see that. Jake sees us finishing 4th again, Reading to push us close, but he also acknowledges that Everton have strengthened. Fiona's not putting an actual figure on where, but more points and make sure that we are more consistent against the lower teams and to get to a final. Okay,
no,
so
I disagree with you, and I think you've got to put a position, because if you think, I get where you're coming from with the points, but I think if you finish below what you did last year, it's not good enough. Whether the points are this and that, people don't remember the points; they remember the number. And obviously, I'd sacrifice the Conti if it meant 3rd, yes, because that means we're flying.
That could have been a whole podcast.
Sports, yeah, and we're going out there, so I'm up for that.
Well, maybe that's a conversation for another day, Nat. Would you rather finish 4th, or would you rather finish 3rd, or would you rather have a cup? That's a whole nother time. Nat, we've eaten up time, and I don't know about you, but I think we're both about to expire with heat. But thank you very much for joining me this evening, and thank you for coming back after the meltdown. Thank you to everybody who's given us a comment or who's watched us. Really appreciate it. I'm going to take a break next week. I think Mark's going to be at the helm. I think it's going to be the boys' show, because for some reason I've realised that we tend to end up with a gender split. It's not intentional. It's just the way it's gone. But yeah, so that's Mark's plan for next week. Not quite sure what he's going to discuss. Maybe something will crop up in the week. Nat, thank you very much for this. Oh, are you going to say something there?
Sunday's game, that's what he'll discuss.
Sunday's game. Do you want to give us a clue? Who's it against, Nat? Any information? Blackburn, who this week have announced the signing of
Charlotte Newsham, but don't tell them what.
Okay, so we wish Charlotte. Yes. All the very best to Charlotte Newsham. She's at Blackburn. Hopefully, a few of us will get a chance to go and see her if they're playing on a weekend where we're not. And if nothing else, Nat will gorge yourself on the sweets at Blackburn, because we love them. And yeah, we look forward to seeing her there. Wish her all the best. And thank you very much to everybody. We'll catch up with you another time. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care.